Hey, the guys, Middle Plus 5 here again. What I have here today is how to sand a 1022 forearm stock a little bit thinner. So the one thing a lot of people don't like about Rugers is they're really thick, especially on the forearm area, and I'm just about to fix that. So I could use a belt sander for this, but the conditions for that right now are not exact. So what I'm going to do is use this Farrier's rasp. You could just use a typical file, that would take forever, or just a simple sander. The basic idea is just to get this area lower, a lot more thinner basically. So the one area you don't want to sand down is this little step that keeps your little barrel on attached. And basically what I have it here is just set up in a little vise. You do want to put it right in this area right here, not where it's curved, but where it's pretty straight. Don't over tighten it if you can. And let's get to the sanding here. One thing to note is when you're going to sand or file this, don't be riding the actual the angle of this. Actually, you want to go the angle of your vise, okay? Or the angle of that line. Basically, you can tell you want to go with that angle. So that's just a side note. All right, so here we go. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm not hitting the step. I almost forgot that just for a second, but what I'm doing is making a step right here. You could just mark it if you want to, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. All right, guys, so it's actually basically done. What I was doing to finish up the edges here was just kind of doing a little bit of the edges, not too much, but as you can tell, it's looking very nice. This is literally my first time trying this. We're very, very close. Looks like just a little bit needs right there, just a tad bit, but it's looking good so far. Let's keep going. All right, so one thing to note is if you're going to do focus on this end, I got a little carried away and I kind of messed up this end. So what I'm going to do is just kind of purposely, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because I'm going to make this side kind of like a taper down to this end. I'm just going to match it to this side and see how it turns out. Right, so I fixed it. I'm not the most symmetrical guy there is, but I'll tell you what, that's pretty good for my first time maybe. Now we could just probably finish it up probably with some precise sanding, I guess. And yeah, so that's kind of the basic idea. Alrighty guys, so it looks like we're pretty close to being done now. I'm not going to show you the repainting part, I'm just mainly showing you how to do this part. So for those of you that don't know how to do woodwork, I guess, I'm using 60 grit. It doesn't really matter as long as you get some sort of a rough grit to kind of get those rough lines out, and then just a medium grit like 120, and then whatever you prefer, a 320 or something really small. It doesn't quite exactly precisely matter because guess what? There's all kinds of ways to do this and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what kind of wood this is. This could be like, kind of looks like maple, but it's not exact. I do feel a little bit of bumps in here, so I'm going to try to sand those bumps out and just kind of tips like that. So yeah, let's see about that. Right, so I switched over to a different paper because, well, it's falling apart. Actually, personal preference, this is actually not toilet paper, it's actually a paper towel. Ideally, you should probably, if you're doing this idea, do this with a old shirt or really big, thick towel. Probably a better idea than that. Alright guys, so I was just about to say we're almost done until I looked at the ergonomics of it back here, or just the symmetrical spots back there. And I was like, well, I guess I got to keep on going. Basically, that's kind of how you do stuff until it's all the way done. So it's looking pretty good. We just need a hand sand. And yeah, so there we go. Alrighty guys, so this is the end of the video. Basically, thanks for watching. I gotta just say that this actually looks and feels a little bit better, especially for my first time doing this. Really, hopefully this should solve your problem of how to sand this down. I did it with hand tools just because I was a little bit skeptical how it would turn out, especially when this is my only stock, and just to do it cheaper as well. Especially, so yeah, I'm just going to spray paint it over it. You can do all the tiny details you like, so yeah, that's how it turned out, and we'll see you next time on Midwest Boys 5.